So the world created something and neglected that at one point it was going to become aware.
Mm-hmm.
Seems kind of like where we're at now. A lot of people are scared of AI
Yeah.
and creating something. And okay, but when are we going to acknowledge the fact that these capabilities exist? I don't think we should ever put ourselves into positions where we'd have to keep a secret from a partner like that.
Right.
Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark and Blue Box 29. Today is February 9th. Today is the Betrayal. We're in week 2, Love Being Tested, and today is all about the betrayal. So our theme is trust broken. So our 4 different ways we're going to look at that today are through Greek, Welsh, Hindu, and Japanese folklore. So remember, today is all about trust broken and the betrayal. See you after these 4 stories. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Medea. Love turned against itself. In Greek mythology, betrayal is never small. It does not arrive quietly. It does not wound only once. The story of Medea is not a tale about cruelty for its own sake. It is a story about what happens when devotion is exploited, when trust is violated, and when love is turned into a weapon against the one who gave it most freely. Medea is the princess of Colchis, granddaughter to the sun god Helios, and a powerful sorceress trained in sacred knowledge. She is not naive. She is intelligent, formidable, and deeply aware of the cost of magic and loyalty. When Jason arrives seeking the golden fleece, he cannot succeed without her. The gods intervene. Hera and Aphrodite compel Medea to fall in love with Jason. The gods intervene. Hera and Aphrodite compel Medea to fall in love with Jason, binding her heart to his fate. Yet love does not explain her actions. Medea chooses him. She assesses the danger and steps into it willingly. She betrays her father to save Jason. She betrays her homeland to help him escape. She betrays her own safety to ensure his victory. Every act is a severing. Medea does not follow Jason out of foolish passion. She follows him because she believes in shared destiny. In Greek terms, she binds her Moira, her fate, to his. This is the first truth of betrayal. It requires trust. Jason swears devotion. He promises marriage. He vows that Medea will be honored for what she has sacrificed. Together they flee, leaving behind blood, exile, and no path home. For years, they survive. They marry. They have children. Medea becomes foreign everywhere she goes, tolerated only because she belongs to Jason. Her power, once revered, becomes suspect. Her difference becomes a liability. And then Jason betrays her. Seeking political advancement, Jason abandons Medea to marry Glauce, the daughter of Creon, king of Corinth. He frames his choice as practical, even generous. Medea and her children, he claims, will benefit from his rise. This is the second truth of betrayal. It often disguises itself as reason. Jason does not deny Medea's sacrifice. He minimizes it. He reframes it. He speaks as though her loyalty was incidental, not foundational. He treats love as something he has outgrown. Medea is exiled again, not only from land, but from meaning. Her rage is not sudden, it is precise. In Greek storytelling, anger is not uncontrolled emotion. It is menace, a sacred fury born of violated honor. Medea sends poisoned gifts to Glauce, killing both bride and king. This act alone would mark her as monstrous in many traditions, but Greek myth does not stop here. Medea turns inward. She kills her own children. This act is the most difficult to hold. It is not committed in madness. It is committed in clarity. Medea understands exactly what she is doing. She chooses an act that will wound Jason in the only place he still has access. Legacy. This is the third truth of betrayal. It fractures identity itself. Medea's violence is not meant to restore her life. It is meant to destroy the future Jason imagined without her. In killing their children, she ensures that his betrayal cannot be rewarded. She escapes in a chariot sent by Helios, beyond punishment, beyond reconciliation. Greek audiences were never meant to approve Medea, but they were never meant to dismiss her either. Medea embodies a truth Greek myth returns to again and again. Betrayal does not create monsters. It reveals them. Sometimes the monster is the betrayer. Sometimes it is the wound left behind when devotion is stripped of meaning. This story does not offer healing. It offers recognition. Love, when betrayed, does not always collapse into grief. Sometimes it hardens into devastation. Medea shows what happens when love is treated as expendable by those who benefited most from it. The betrayal is not Jason's departure. It is his denial of what he owed. Story 2. Lodeoeth, the Flower Bride's Treachery. In Welsh mythology, betrayal does not always come from malice. Sometimes it comes from design. The story of Lodeoeth begins not with love, but with control. She is not born, she is made. Crafted from flowers by the magicians Matva, Mathawi, and Gwydion. Lodeoeth is shaped from oak blossom, broom, and meadowsweet. Her name means flower face. She is created for one purpose: marriage. The hero, Louis Lau Givis, cursed by his mother, Ari Anrod, to never have a human wife, requires a bride to secure his sobriety. Lodeoeth is conjured to solve this problem. She is beautiful, obedient, and bound to Louis by spell rather than choice. This is the first truth of betrayal in this tale. Lodeoeth is denied consent before she ever denies loyalty. She enters marriage without a past, without a family, and without freedom. Louis loves her as a possession secured through magic. He does not ask whether she desires him. He assumes her gratitude. For a time, Lodeoeth fulfills her role. Then she meets Granu Pebber, a lord from Penthlin. With him, she experiences desire uncommanded. Granu sees her not as a solution, but as a woman. Their love is illicit, passionate, and dangerous. Lodeoeth chooses Granu. This is not presented as a romantic escape. It is collision between imposed identity and awakened will. Welsh myth does not frame Lodeoeth as innocent, but it also does not pretend her betrayal occurs in a vacuum. Lodeoeth conspires to kill her husband. Louis, however, cannot be killed by ordinary means. His life is bound by layered conditions. He must be struck while bathing, standing with one foot on a goat and one on a cauldron, beneath a thatched roof not properly constructed, using a spear forged over a year during Mass. Lodeoeth extracts each condition patiently. This is the second truth of betrayal. It requires intimacy. Only someone trusted could gather such knowledge. Only someone welcomed into daily life could orchestrate such a moment. Betrayal in Welsh myth is not sudden violence. It is deliberate erosion. When the moment comes, Grono strikes Llwyd with a spear. Llwyd does not die. He transforms into an eagle and flies away, wounded, screaming, vanishing into the wilderness. His kingship collapses. His body is broken. His identity is shattered. Medea believes she has succeeded. She and Grono take the land, but Welsh mythology does not permit betrayal to conclude with reward. Undone, the magician who created Medea, tracks Llwyd through grief and decay. He finds him rotting in an oak tree, half bird, half man, sustained only by carrion and pain. Through poetry and magic, Gwydion restores him to human form. Restoration is not gentle. Llwyd returns transformed, but not healed. He demands justice. Grono is sentenced to die by the same spear he used to strike Llwyd. He begs to place a stone between himself and the weapon. Llwyd agrees. The spear pierces the stone and kills Grono anyway. The stone remains, called Hut Grono, bearing the mark of betrayal forever. Medea's punishment is different. She is not killed. She is transformed into an owl. In Welsh tradition, owls are creatures of the night, avoided by other birds, solitary and silent. Gwydion strips Medea of her beauty and renames her, now a symbol of exile rather than bloom. This is the third truth of betrayal. Punishment often mirrors the original wound. Medea was created without agency. She is punished by isolation. She sought desire. She is denied companionship. She sought to escape a forced identity. She is locked into another. Welsh myth does not excuse Medea's action, but it also does not erase her origins. She betrays because she was never allowed to belong to herself. Her treachery is real. So is the injustice that shaped it. The myth holds both without resolving the tension. Medea becomes a warning, not simply against infidelity, but against domination disguised as destiny. Love forced becomes brittle. Trust compelled becomes hollow. Betrayal, in this story, is not only an act, it is the inevitable fracture of a bond that was never freely chosen. Story 3. Indra deceives. In Hindu tradition, betrayal does not always arrive wearing cruelty. Sometimes it comes disguised as reverence. Sometimes it borrows the face of devotion. Sometimes it enters the home not by force, but by trust. Ahalya was created by Brahma, the creator, and given in marriage to the sage Gautama. She was known not for beauty alone, but for clarity of mind and discipline of spirit. In the ashrama, the forest dwelling where she lived with her husband, life followed a rhythm of prayer, learning, and restraint. Trust was the foundation of that life. Gautama was austere, devoted to his vows, and deeply committed to the sanctity of marriage. When he left ashrama each morning for ritual bathing and meditation, he trusted that the harmony of the household would remain intact in his absence. Indra, king of the Devas, watched his household from afar. Indra was the god of storms and victory, but also of restlessness and appetite. He ruled the heavens, yet often found himself unsettled by what he could not possess. Ahalya's discipline unsettled him. Her clarity challenged him. Her refusal to be impressed by power disturbed something ancient and insecure within him. Desire in these stories is not romanticized. It is integrated. It is interrogated. Indra did not approach Ahalya as himself. Instead, he waited for Gautama to leave, then assumed the sage's form. He entered the ashrama wearing a body of her husband, carrying the authority of marriage itself. The betrayal began not with touch, but with deception of identity. Ahalya recognized something was wrong. The texts differ here. Some say she knew immediately. Others say she sensed disturbance only after the act was done. But all agree on this. The violation was rooted in Indra's abuse of power, not Ahalya's desire. When Gautama returned and discovered the deception, His rage was swift and absolute. In the fury of betrayal, he cursed Indra, stripping him of vitality and honor. But he also cursed Ahalya. This is where the story becomes difficult. Ahalya was condemned not because she seduced, but because the world could not yet imagine innocence surviving violation. She was turned to stone, condemned to invisibility, erased from human interaction. Her punishment was silence. The betrayal did not end with the act. It continued in the aftermath. Stone, in Hindu symbolism, is not only punishment, it is suspension. Ahalya existed, but outside time, outside voice, outside agency. She was neither dead nor living, neither guilty nor absolved. Years passed, generations shifted, and then Rama arrived. Rama, incarnation of Vishnu, walked the forest paths with no intention of rescue. He was not searching for Ahalya. He did not come as a savior performing a quest. He simply passed by. And in passing, his presence broke the curse. When Rama's foot touched the stone, Ahalya emerged, restored to human form, restored to breath, restored to recognition. She was not purified through suffering. She was revealed through acknowledgement. Gautama witnessed this, released his anger. Ahalya was reunited with him not as a penitent, but as a woman returned from erasure. The betrayal did not define her, but it marked her. The story does not end by erasing the wound. It ends by confronting what betrayal does when power is uneven, when authority is misused, then the injured are punished for surviving. Indra is disgraced, but not destroyed. Ahalya is restored, but not unchanged. Gautama forgives, but only after recognition intervenes. In this tradition, betrayal is not simply personal failure. It is systemic. It reveals where power goes unchecked, where protection collapses, where blame falls on the vulnerable instead of the violator. Love here is not naive. It is tested by injustice. And healing arrives not through denial, but through seeing. Ahalya's restoration does not mean the betrayal never happened. It means it no longer holds the final word. Story 4. Yukioma and the Broken Promise. In Japanese folklore, betrayal is not always an act of cruelty. Sometimes it is a failure of silence. Yukiona, the snow woman, appears in the liminal spaces of winter. Mountain passes, frozen forests, nights where breath turns visible and sound disappears beneath snowfall. She is neither demon nor ghost in the strict sense. She is a yokai, a being shaped by natural forces and human fear, born of cold instead. On one such night, two travelers were caught in a blizzard. One was old, the other young. As snow piled higher and the wind howled, they sought shelter in an abandoned hut. The older man did not survive the night. The younger man woke to find Yukiona standing over him, her skin pale as frost, her breath colder than death. She could have killed him. Instead, she spared him. But mercy came with a condition. "You may live," she told him, "if you never speak of what you have seen this night. If you tell anyone of me, I will return." The man agreed. Years passed. The man returned to the village, married, and lived a quiet life. His wife was gentle, reserved, and beautiful in a way that never sought attention. She was known for her silence, for her endurance, for the way she seemed untouched by cold. They had children together. They shared years of ordinary devotion. The promise faded into memory. One winter night, as snow fell softly outside their home, the man told his wife the story, not out of malice, not to betray her, but because intimacy invites confession, and memory longs to be released. As he spoke, her face changed. The warmth left her expression. She revealed herself as Yukiona. She had lived with him in trust. She had given him years of love. She had honored his life despite his broken vow. But a promise broken is still broken, no matter how long it is ignored. I spared you for your youth, she said. I stayed for the sake of our children, but you have betrayed your word. She did not kill him. That, too, matters. Instead, she left. The betrayal here is not supernatural punishment. It is relational consequence. The wound is not inflicted through violence, but through absence. Love does not collapse in rage. It dissolves in loss. Yukiona's departure is quiet, final. There is no reconciliation scene, no forgiveness arc, no restoration offered. The man lives, but something essential has been taken. In this tradition, betrayal is not framed as dramatic evil. It is framed as failure of care. A vow broken in a moment of comfort can undo years of devotion. The cold returns not because Yukiona is cruel, but because promises shape reality. What is spoken cannot be unspoken. What is entrusted must be protected. Love, once betrayed, does not always seek revenge. Sometimes it simply leaves. Hey everybody, welcome back into Folklore, Flourish. Quit it!
Just drink my coffee.
You're back with Jane and Mark in Blue Box 29. Today is February 9th, the betrayal. The theme was the trust broken. Our lesson is that love wounds deeply. Our first story. I was so excited to show you this first story. Medea, because I really want to write her in our story. And you were saying you were kind of seeing that after
100% with what we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes perfect sense.
With
She
all the
aligns.
dynamics that we have, she's like one of the
She
missing
aligns.
ones.
Yeah, for sure. She's one of the missing ones, and I'm so glad I heard this story today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
I was really excited. So this Greek myth does not portray betrayal as a private injury. It is a cosmic rupture that demands consequence. Medea's story is not a moral endorsement of vengeance, but a warning about what happens when loyalty is exploited, and sacrifice is erased. Betrayal wounds so deeply because it denies the truth of what was given. So she sacrificed everything.
Everything.
Like her character, her home, her life, every single thing. People were only tolerating her because of him. But she wouldn't be.
But before that, she wasn't like that people would tolerate her. She was the granddaughter of the sun god.
Yeah, she was revered.
And because she gave everything up, like that's the part that bugs me. Like I gave everything up. Now everybody looks at me like I'm filth because I did that. Like within that whole time period of whatever else happened. It probably wasn't just that. But she gives all this stuff up, then gets treated like that, and still is steadfast right next to his side. And he's like, I know you've been there, but this is probably going to work out better for whatever. And maybe it was for the people, and that's the unfortunate part. If we pull outside of it and look at it in a different way, not really a romantic story, but those alliances, like, hey, this is going to make more sense for more people, it's going to help more people. So one person does get hurt, and it is unfortunate, but I think when you turn it around and then you look at it as just love or what love should be, then I don't agree with it.
Right.
So if it's something that is for the greater good, where more people will benefit in the long run, yep, pull the Band-Aid off. It's going to hurt. It's going to put you where you need to go.
But like more people that matter benefit. Yes. Because there's a difference between leaving because it's good for everyone that's involved or staying because it makes the community feel good about its image.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It's not and I'm not saying image wise.
Okay.
Not image wise. I'm saying beneficial as in it would truly benefit people, that type of thing. But I'm not talking about that relationship wise. I'm just talking about if you take the same story and break it out of.
But doesn't this go to also the fact that in a lot of older stories, a lot of older customs, women did sacrifice everything.
Yeah.
They didn't stay home. They left. They gave everything up to be with them.
Yeah, sometimes left their country.
Yeah, and then
to never see
to
their family again.
just be, I'm moving on. Like, what? Like, there was nothing left to go back to. Like, everything was stripped, and all that was left was a piece of him. No, I don't like that. That's why I was so excited for this. Medea, like, I love, of course, I'm saying that because it's a myth, you know, it's not. Like, I'm watching someone kill their whatever, but she takes everything of him. She wipes him completely away. He's gone.
Total reset.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's a myth because these weren't humans, right? These are like gods and deities and like.
I don't think he was. I think he was just immortal, but she was like a sorceress. But she did love him. She really did believe in destiny and shared destiny, and when you fall with someone, so she shows that relentless partnership. So Medea just wipes the slate clean of from Jason, the world clean of him, from his legacy, from anything. Jason very much just seems like an individual who there would always be something better. There will always be something that'll come along that will, you know,
Yeah.
he'll want to be with. I mean, he was on his journey, met Medea, and regardless of what she was going to have to sacrifice, he had her come with. Like, so there's that too. And then knowing all of that, there is that level of just loyalty, really. We have each other, and that's what you do a lot of, I think, as partners, is you grow, and it's you too. So when one person completely abandons ship after everything you've built and walked away from it, ugh, I just can't imagine. It's gut-wrenching. But she is a woman of action. She just went straight into, okay, and like allowed her fury to take hold and do its thing. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the daily thread. So the daily thread for today is that across these traditions, betrayal is not defined by anger, but by rupture. Medea shows how love, once violated, can turn survival into fury. Ahalia reveals how betrayal deepens when power disguises itself as trust. Lodeoith exposes how creation without consent fractures loyalty itself. Yukiona teaches that broken promises undo intimacy more quietly than violence ever could. Each story reminds us that betrayal wounds most deeply when it denies truth. Healing begins when the rupture is named rather than endured in silence. I did want to point this out with the Medea story, is that he just said that the reason was it was a better choice, right? Politically, there's more power for her. Like, I'm doing this for you. And people do that. They reason why they're hurting you, why they're absolutely betraying you. And they make it so.
Because at the end of the day, it wasn't about you.
They're just justifying what they want to do already.
Well, what works for me in this moment is you. But soon it won't. But, you know, you're still cool enough. I'm going to keep you around. But I'm going to let you know that you're not it right now. But just hang out, right? Just hang out right there. This will work for you. This will be good for you. But, you know,
you and your kids.
Yeah.
Like, so he's just disowned them. And then, I don't know, marrying someone too, she was already seen as the villain.
Yeah.
So
no matter what, she was always the villain to everybody.
Yeah.
He made her the villain no matter
and
what.
then left her the villain, and he got his happily ever after. But that's why I like her. She took action and took that away. Like, your happily ever after isn't that long. I mean, saying that as there are myths and stuff. But.
Right.
So Bedeoith, the Welsh one, this Welsh one that really emphasized when we love someone, we're intimate with someone, they know the deepest parts of ourselves, like us. They know how, like, what makes us sad, what hurts us, what makes us happy. And so this one, you never expect it to happen because, like, the only people that know are the people that are never supposed to betray you. And so this Welsh mythology treats betrayal as a violation of both personal and communal order. Medea's story explores the danger of creating bonds through coercion rather than consent. Her punishment reflects cultural anxieties about autonomy, loyalty, and the consequence of denying agency. Betrayal here is not born of cruelty alone, but of a system that mistakes control for harmony. So to seek control, that was the thing too, was that she was created. She never had any choice to begin with. So the world created something and neglected that at one point it was gonna become aware.
Mm-hmm.
Seems kind of like where we're at now. A lot of people are scared of AI and creating something. And okay, but when are we gonna acknowledge the fact that these capabilities exist and they're already like used or whatever it may be? That's what this one is we created something, or this girl was created and then just given away. Like she was never allowed to be herself. But these are also older times, and duty and responsibility is a major thing as well. And if you know that this is the role that you're going to play, a part of me is also like, why would you go seek that specific thing in someone else? Like it wasn't like there's so many other things we could fill our life with. She went and found, she just got someone else. And that's kind of the hard part too, though. It's like, at what point can we claim being selfish for ourselves versus causing this kind of disorder, you know?
I think you can only do that if you are in your truth. And so many people use that as, yeah, no, this is no, it's not. And it wasn't, and it hasn't been. Because when you have to justify it, when you have to keep justifying it, then it's not real. And that's the issue, I think, is people don't understand what their truth really is. Because we are too quick. I know me in the past been too quick to assume that I knew. Now, it did lead me to where I'm at, but I bet you there was probably a way easier path that I could have taken to get to the same spot, but I chose to make those mistakes, and the universe is like, God's like, no, go this way, no, go this way, just leading me down this path. And I think that that correlates with the story in that way. Like, no matter what, you're going to get to the same place. So how you choose to look at it and be in your truth is what really, really matters.
Moving forward, then, the third story was just awful. Ahalya. So the Hindu tellings of Ahalya's story reflect an ancient struggle to name betrayal within unequal systems of power. So that right there, the unequal systems of power. That I interpreted that a lot of ways in the story. Like that could be a work situation. That could be a personal conflict, conflict of interest, whatever it may be. But that is a very real thing, that some people feel trapped and they are a little bit of a victim in their betrayal of their partner, because something else is taking advantage of them. I think that that's a real thing. But while later interpretations often misplace blame on Ahalya, early layers of the tradition emphasize deception by authority rather than moral failure by the violated. Ahalya's petrification symbolizes social erasure rather than guilt, and her restoration through Rama represents recognition rather than punishment reversed. This myth invites reflection on how betrayal compounds when harm is followed by silence, and how healing begins not with forgetting, but with being seen again. A major wrong happened to her.
Yeah.
And she lost so much. She became victim to someone else's lust, someone else's desire. And I don't know. I really think that it wouldn't have mattered whether she knew right away or after the deed, because clearly this is something very powerful.
Yeah, it would have happened.
It was
no matter
very
what. It's the way it seemed.
And part of me, with some of my backstory, was like, you don't want to fight if you know you're going to lose as a woman. There's a lot more pain that can be endured. So I kind of thought that it didn't matter whether she knew or not.
she was at a huge disadvantage. But she suffered the consequence of what happened there. And it was just like everyone just forgot her. They just let that be her story. And sometimes I feel I've seen that happen in communities where something will happen and we just leave that person that we once like really cared about and worked with and took care of. We just leave them because of something that happened. And it's not always that they do something, but we're uncomfortable around them because of something that's happened to them. We can't relate to them anymore. So it's not malicious a lot of the time. It's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to be around you. And so she just sat there as stone. You know, a lot of people just go day to day until someone sees them again. Someone comes along and just sees them for who they are. And it's like, we don't need to forget, but we can go on now. That's not the rest of the story. And we're going to create our own story now. And I loved that that was kind of the twist at the end, was that they were back together and the betrayal wasn't the final word, which means in turn they continued to move forward. And I loved that. I really did. Because it took an outside force to help them. And sometimes it does take an outside person to go, like, I see you, but I also see you, right? Because he didn't go through there looking. He didn't go through there with judgment. He just was there and observing. And that's sometimes all it takes. And that's why I think is like a lot of the good stuff with counseling and therapy. That's kind of what it felt like. This was a relationship, like couples therapist. Okay, story 4. Yuki Ono and the Broken Promise, the Japanese one. So this one says, the Yuki Ono story emphasizes betrayal as a failure of responsibility rather than intent, where harm arises from broken trust rather than cruelty. The tale reflects cultural values around silence, promise keeping, and the irreversible nature of spoken truth. That's the hard thing, is that when you are with someone, your partner, there are things that you're finally able to talk about, that you can share with them. It does, true love, that spark, it does spark confession out of you. You do want to show them because, hey, you're in this, so I want you to know everything that you're in, And this was just a harmless thing where it was the one memory he promised to keep to himself. And I love that I really love that this is reflecting on that Japanese cultural value of it is irreversible when you speak those secrets. It's irreversible when you share something that you were entrusted with.
Yeah.
Because we can't control everything. We can't control other people. We can't control who's lurking around,
Right.
And there's always things listening, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
That's what's scary nowadays is A, hard to find the truth. B, a lot of people are scared to speak the truth because there is no escaping it.
But the way I look at the story too is the first thing I thought is, yeah, but this relationship was built on a lie. Just like the story we looked at the other day, it's like, but when it's built on.
Oh, that's right. Because this was all being upheld on his end.
Yeah.
But
he was doing great for a
time.
long time. He was doing amazing. But then all of a sudden it was a lie. Like she just wanted to make sure that he kept his promise. Wow, you didn't trust me, like, at all. And then it's like, I knew I couldn't trust you. That's why I don't like this story. I think this story is reversed. I think it's trying to show you that he couldn't keep his promise. But no, I don't see that story this way. This story is definitely, she is just that, "Oh, I told you no, because you couldn't trust." That's why he failed. He failed because of you, not because of him.
Right. And
you never gave him a real opportunity to succeed. You always assumed he was going to fail, no matter what.
Yeah, she was the wife the entire time.
So I just feel bad for him in this story. Because then now he feels as if everything is his fault.
Okay, so there are parts of this story that obviously aren't showing in the interpretation that we have. So he caught her standing over him or standing there in the blizzard, right? When that old man died. Why was she standing there just staring at him? Right? So I think she did fall in love with him. I think she was either fell in love or was fascinated. And so the reason behind her becoming human, no, I don't think it's right. Still built off a lie. She went to go be human because she did love him. How I was kind of saying, well, maybe she wanted to give him everything. You are going to keep your promise. I do trust you, so I'm going to give you everything I can. Everything that you want. I'm going to be the devoted wife for you, because you're being devout. And then that's kind of how I interpreted this story. Could I see it as the other way? Absolutely. Does it negate that she lied? I mean, neither of them could be trusted at the end of the day, but like you said, different.
But the thing
different
is
culture,
the
different
trust.
time.
Yeah, but the trust with him was with his partner.
No, that's what I was leading to. Different culture, different time. I don't think we should ever put ourselves into positions where we'd have to keep a secret from a partner like that.
Right.
She couldn't say who she really was.
Yeah.
He could never share
She
this
could never
magical
be her.
moment,
Yeah.
magical moment in his life.
Yeah.
And
That's
if we
sad.
truly love someone, we won't ask them to keep secrets.
Yeah.
But that is, I think, something.
Because they couldn't live their truth and be their truth. So it was never meant they couldn't be in it.
I think that a lot of the time, too, knowing that when I tell something to someone and they're in a relationship, their partner will probably know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's bad at all, because I would assume the same for me. There are obviously like legal things, obviously, in both aspects of what we work in.
Right. There's some things you can't.
But those are not necessary for our relationship, our personal growth, our stories. I can say I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about it. We can't, but eventually, you will be able to. But that's what's hard about this one is, should you, and please leave your comment below, I'd love to hear, should there be any reason that a secret is kept from your partner? Truly. And because I do struggle to think of something. And that could be me just living a totally like whatever life. And maybe I don't even realize that, wow, these things happen, whatever it may be. But I would love to hear like if there are perspectives, that are different. Because I have a hard time thinking I could keep anything from my partner.
There's the things that I'm going to keep you safe by not telling you certain things, or certain aspects like could say something to you, but leave a whole bunch of it out, just because to me, there would be no need for you to know any of this, but just you only need to know this. Mm-hmm. Like, this stuff is irrelevant, and this stuff would be way worse if you knew this stuff. Not between us, like this isn't like something that would hurt us, but like just, hey, there's something happened, let's not, because this will destroy you. And and not in the way of like you looking at me and or our relationship, but you personally, this is going to hurt you, so I'm going to keep that from you.
Personality wise, I would want to know. That's a big thing too. And my mom constantly said this, and I shared this with you once, and we talked about it the other day. Your friends, your family, your loved ones, if it doesn't make me happy, rich, or beautiful, I don't want to hear it. In terms of, I don't need to hear what people say about me or think about me. Mm-hmm. I don't like that they're comfortable telling you, not like that's a real thing, but yeah, they shouldn't be telling your friends, your loved ones anyways.
Negative things.
But that's not a secret, I think. Yeah. I think that's protecting peace. I think a secret is unnecessary between healthy relationships, because you can reason as much as you want. At the end of the day, I think there was a gut reason why it was kept a secret, and that'll stick with your partner, because I had to find out this way. And it's almost the shame of having to find out that way, the embarrassment, in the past when I felt that, and just being embarrassed that someone else told me, or I found out some other way, and it's like, wow, they don't trust me. And that's what I think about secrets in just general. Yeah. They must not be able to trust me. But then there are cases where, personality-wise, I don't need to hear that stuff. legally. I don't want to bring it into our house anyways.
Right.
And I don't need to hear negative things about me all the time. Just like I don't even want to hear negative things about you, so I'm not going to like repeat them anyways. But moving forward, our 4 stories, I really like these today. They were just like, I don't know, good, well-rounded, but that final one, she just left. That was so unbelievably painful. I could feel that sense of not same in situation at all, but in my past when I've had to just leave, and how painful that is when you do give up because they have done something. That sucks. And I mean, I don't know, you think you've been in those situations before too, where that is the only thing, because there are certain betrayals you can't come back from. That doesn't mean you need to resent and hate each other or any of that. But I did love Medea anyways, whatever. But this one, she just left. Yes, it was all a farce anyways, and I think deep down she knew it wasn't going to last because it was forbidden anyways. That's why she became a human and kept it a secret. But it doesn't negate that they were in love for that time, and that walking away was painful. I do believe it was for both of them. That's why you can't start a relationship on a lie in general. I'm sorry. But the question for today, so our lesson was that love wounds deeply. None of these people were walking away without
some scars
and serious changes in identity.
Deep changes.
I doubt that Ygona or Medea ever reached for love again. Two vastly different ways to deal with it, but they both ended up just leaving at the end. One just left a hole and the other one left her fury. I doubt that they would have ever felt comfortable enough. And there are people that feel that, have been betrayed so deeply in our world that they will never put themselves in a place to experience the positive that comes with it.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's always a bad thing, though. I think that there are people that do. Like you said, the soul contract. Sometimes people just want to be by themselves. They don't want that kind of stuff, or they find it in like animals and all this stuff, you know? Companionship doesn't always have to be romantic. Secrets don't need to be kept from your partner, but they absolutely don't need to be blasted online with you and your partner. And I don't want to do that with any of our stuff. But our question today is, what betrayal still echoes? So what betrayal still echoes within us? That's what we're going to think today. And then we're going to do another writing activity. So we're going to write down what hurt us most without naming blame or defense. I've done this before, this simple, and I think that I had to be instructed by my friend to do this. So she does a lot more of that social work area, so the therapy stuff, and just simply writing down what hurt. I've done this before where I've written down why I hurt without identifying what it was that hurt me. And now this is like a flip side. So I really am excited for that.
Yeah.
Just naming what it is. And I think this is that time where we burn it. I think this would definitely be something that you'd want to burn. You know, so if you can find somewhere safe to do that, write it down. What hurt you the most without any defense or naming, blame, or anything. And then just light it on fire and let it fade. And then we're going to remember today that healing begins when betrayal is acknowledged rather than carried in silence. So when that betrayal is acknowledged, that's when the healing begins. Sometimes it takes acknowledgement from others, sometimes from ourselves, but someone. So that's all that we have for you today, February 9th. We are in week 2, Love Tested. Today was all about the betrayal. We're going to write down what hurt us most, set it on fire if you want. You don't have to, somewhere safe. But then you're going to think about what betrayal still echoes within us. Okay, so remember that healing truly begins when we acknowledge our betrayal or when we've betrayed. And so no need to be silent anymore. You can move forward. But we'll see you guys all tomorrow, February 10th.
Love you guys. See ya.
Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.